Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
What a flurry of legal activity in the SEC versus Ripple case. Between yesterday and today, there have been at least 4 legal filings between the judge, Ripple's lawyers, and the SEC's attorneys. And so I'll tell you this, I didn't expect to have 2 updates in one day on this particular topic, but I do. My very last video was on this topic, and I've already got an update for you. And so I'll tell you here at the outset of the video, and then we'll get into the specifics, but the SEC requested a delay, and it's been granted by the judge. And so again, it's a quick update, and I'll share with you the specifics in just a moment, as well as why Ripple's legal team really not too thrilled with this particular result. Also, there's an article from The Motley Fool, which ended up getting posted on Yahoo. Also, I've noticed, I don't know if they're the same company at this point. I didn't see if Yahoo bought out The Motley Fool or something like that, but I'm seeing some overlap between articles from time to time, so perhaps there's something like that. You can even see right here, they got the little Motley Fool logo at the top here. But anyway, there's this article titled, "What's in store for XRP this year?" And I had just a couple comments on this. I don't want to speak too terribly in depth, but it caught my attention. And they ultimately ask, should you invest $1,000 in XRP? So anyway, plenty to talk about here. But before we get going any further, I do want to be clear that I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, I want to be clear also, you don't have to watch the last video that I put out on this topic in order to understand what's going on. I'm going to give the briefest of brief explanations of the details that you must know in order to have any understanding of what is occurring with the most recent developments. But if you want the full breakdown with all of the additional interesting details, and there are quite a few, I encourage you to check out my very last video. It was on this topic, but it's okay if you watch them out of order. Frankly, it's not going to matter. I just thought I'd mention that in case anybody was wondering here. But again, my last video just a bit earlier today, I reported that the SEC is withholding documents that are highly relevant to the SEC's litigation against Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and Chris Larson. Now, the documents in question have to do with meetings that Brad Garlinghouse had in 2018 with top-ranking SEC officials, including SEC Commissioner Elad Roisman. Now, as it turns out, in September of 2021, Garlinghouse swore under oath that Commissioner Roisman told him that he does not believe that XRP is a security. And now, this is important because he's one of the 5 humans on the entire planet that decide whether or not to bring legal actions against people and businesses. Now, I also did previously note that Brad swore this under oath, but I would like to correct something I got wrong as a result of reading a single word incorrectly. And so let me go to the document that was filed yesterday, which included this exhibit. This is Exhibit F from the document, which I already talked about in detail in the last video. So if you want an additional explanation of what's covered in the document, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but what's on your screen right now is Exhibit F. And it's some of Brad Garlinghouse's sworn testimony. He's under oath here. The SEC attorneys grilling him, and this occurred in September of 2021. And so here's the part that I was referencing here. There's a question from the SEC attorney which reads as follows. In these meetings with the commissioners, did any of the commissioners tell you that they did not believe that XRP is a security? Brad Garlinghouse responded then with one word, yes. Then the SEC attorney came back and asked, who? And then Brad Garlinghouse stated the following. I recall Commissioner Roisman very specifically saying, I'm sorry you've even had to come here. I think that the confusion about the status of XRP he viewed is not healthy for the market. I don't recall, he wrote, well, there's a bunch of dashes between I don't, I recall less about the meeting with Commissioner Purse. And so it seems sloppy when I read it like that because it's how a person really speaks in real life. You can tell if you hear it the way that they're saying it. And then ... because he's thinking, I don't ... and then he's like, no, scratch the I don't. And then he stated, I recall less about the meeting with Commissioner Pierce. So when I read it like that, sometimes it just doesn't flow as if you actually heard Brad Garlinghouse saying it. So anyway, I just thought I'd explain that. So what we had right there was Brad Garlinghouse initially saying yes to the question. Did a commissioner state that that XRP is not a security? That they didn't believe XRP was a security? And the answer was a firm yes. Then when he was asked who, he went into something that was a little bit less firm sounding than I think it's somewhat fair to say, because he said, I'm sorry you've even had to come here. Well, I'm sorry you've even had to come here is not quite as strong as I don't believe XRP is not a security. And then the question that came after that, and this is the part where I did read one word incorrectly, and that's why I wanted to clear the record here. The next question from the SEC attorney was, okay, did the chair tell you he did not believe XRP was a security? And Brad Garlinghouse responded with one word, no. And so the word that I got wrong was the word is chair. And in my mind, since I was already thinking commissioner, and then I was a little bit less convinced by Brad Garlinghouse's explanation there in the middle, to be honest with you, when I read through the question, I was reading commissioner when the word was chair. So what he was saying is no, Chairman Jay Clayton did not say that he didn't believe XRP was a security. So to be clear, it's a firm yes. Brad Garlinghouse did, full stop, state that Elad Roisman, who was then a commissioner of the SEC, did tell him that he didn't think XRP was a security. So I just wanted to quickly correct the record since I did speak about that at some point in my video. Not the biggest of deals, but I felt like I needed to at least touch on that just to clear things up here. Apologize for the mistake, but is what it is, man. Moon man will be human. Now, there's this. I don't need to read through this, it's on your screen. This is the SEC earlier today saying, hey, we want to have an extension. So the SEC filed a letter to the judge asking for an extension to reply to the motion demanding that the SEC produce the documents. And the deadline for the SEC to reply was actually Tuesday. Excuse me, let me get some water. Sorry, folks. I've been talking a lot today. So anyway, the deadline for the SEC to reply was Tuesday, February 15th, and they requested a deadline to be extended to February 24th, an extension of 9 days. And so, look, it may not slow the overall progression of the case, but it's certainly going to result in an increased workload for Ripple's legal team over a specific period of time, and that doesn't sound particularly fair, especially after so many delays have already been granted by the court, and there have been like so many that frankly I've lost count of all of them at this point. I don't know if this is like number 6 or something like that. There's been so many delays that they just keep getting granted. Has there even been a delay that's been denied? Maybe there has been and I just don't recall. It just seems like pretty much all of them get granted here. And so Ripple's attorney here, I think this was Attorney Solomon if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, Attorney Matthew Solomon, wrote in response to that the following. Further delay is prejudicial to Mr. Garlinghouse. The documents that are the subject of the SEC's privilege claim were demanded to be produced months ago, and the parties have been litigating the SEC's claims of privilege since last summer. Moreover, the SEC's delay in even alerting defendants to the existence of these notes prevented the parties from addressing them as part of the motions filed before this court last August. Yeah, exactly. And so there are additional ramifications negative for Ripple's legal team beyond that. Perhaps we're not privy to. Who knows what it does to gum up the works behind the scenes when they're already working on overtime, no doubt here. But regardless, the judge decided this is what was fair and right. And I don't know, it does make me wonder because there's been so many extensions here. It just makes me wonder if the judge, and I don't know if this is the case, but it makes me wonder if the judge is just trying to make this appeal proof. You know, if this doesn't go in favor of the SEC, if it's fully adjudicated, it's one less thing they can come back and say, look, we didn't even have proper time to respond to this or that. Every extension under the sun's been granted that I can think of off the top of my head at least. So maybe, I don't know, or even if that's not the design, if that's not the intent behind it, maybe that could be a potential plus if it gets to that point anyway. I don't know, we'll see here. And now there is this, and this was a text-only order. So these text-only orders, it's entered into the computer system, whatever the system is called, and it's not on a fancy-looking digital letterhead or anything like that. And attorney James Filan, member of the XRP community, shared this, and here's what he wrote. Hashtag XRP community, SEC versus Ripple, hashtag XRP. SEC's motion for extension is granted. The SEC shall file its response to defendant's letter motion on February 24th, 2022. At that time, the SEC is further ordered to email to Chambers the challenged Estabrooks notes for in-camera review. And so Estabrooks, that I believe his first name is Matthew also, Matthew Estabrooks, he's an attorney, if memory serves, was with the SEC. He departed the SEC's employ in January of this year. And so that's who's being referenced there. His notes are the ones in questions, because he was present for the meetings reference that I've been talking about within this video. And so these notes were uncovered as he was packing up his stuff to leave his, packing up his office, leaving the SEC, all that. And so what we're finding here is that the judge wants to see these documents that the SEC doesn't want to give up to Team Ripple. The judge wants to see them for in-camera review. And in-camera review just means in-person review. So the judge is going to get to take a look at these particular documents, and the judge will determine whether or not these documents will end up getting in the hands of Ripple's legal team, and whether or not it can be used as a part of their defense. So it just depends on what's within them and the personal perspective of the judge. So we'll see. I don't know what's happening, but it does seem highly relevant for reasons I've highlighted in particular more in depth in my very last video, but it seems to make sense to me. And then there was this from XRP community member Tag XRP, which made me laugh. Take a look at your screen if you can. There's just a GIF. And Tag XRP wrote in response to that, to Mr. Filan, here's a video of the judges granting every single extension the SEC requests. And it's just a guy handing out, I don't know what it is, I can't tell because it's kind of blurry, paper or money, I don't know. Well, I mean, money is paper if it's physical like that anyway. Well, unless it's a coin, whatever, it doesn't matter, I digress. And it just says in the GIF, there you go, there you go, there you go. Because look, you get an extension, and you get an extension, and you get an extension, and all of them just go to the SEC. That's pretty much it. It is what it is, folks. All right, now this, I'm going to be brief with this, but I this kind of made me laugh for like just a few reasons. This is the article written by the Motley Fool titled, "What's in Store for XRP This Year?" This was actually written on February 6th, and it's February 11th at the time that I'm recording this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. And one of the things that they asked, and maybe it's just one of those attention-grabbing things, okay, fine, well enough, should you invest $1,000 in XRP? It was kind of funny because then they ask the question and then they go on to try and get you to click on like a link for you where you can take a look at their stock picks effectively. I was like, okay, that's a fun time right there. And there are a couple things I wanted to point out that were completely ridiculous. And in this article, it's not like some sort of negative thing against Ripple and XRP, but I just noticed when it comes to the Motley Fool, frequently the things that are written do not make a damn bit of sense. For instance, where's the sentence I'm looking at? Here we go. This is from the author of this. As I've touched on in recent pieces, XRP's biggest headwinds right now is the SEC lawsuit that was handed to Ripple, the parent company behind XRP, in late 2022. Folks, did you know that XRP has a parent company and that it's Ripple? And another question, did you know that the Motley Fool author that wrote this article doesn't know what the hell a parent company is? Yes, in fact, take a look at this. You have basically the sum of all human knowledge at your fingertips via the webernets. Type stuff into the Googles, and you can find out what the hell a parent company is. I typed in, what is a parent company? And this page popped up. This is the first page that popped up from Investopedia. How do they describe it? Look at this. A parent company is a company that has a controlling interest in another company, giving it control of its operations. So I want to know, does the author think that a cryptocurrency is also a company? And whether the answer is yes or no from the author, I want to know, additionally, does Ripple have a controlling interest over that company or non-company, XRP? Does it? Clearly the answer is no. XRP, it's just a decentralized cryptocurrency. Ripple controls something like, I don't know, 4 or 5% of the validator nodes. It's even proposed changes to the XRP ledger that have been absolutely flat out denied by the validators on the network. Because again, Ripple doesn't have any special permissions over the ledger. So what it wants, it doesn't just magically necessarily get. So anyway, I always get a kick out of that too. How can you have somebody in 2022 writing an article about a cryptocurrency thinking that like there's a parent company for a decentralized cryptocurrency? Don't make no damn sense to Moon Lambo. And then the timing of this was rather comical to me too. So like, obviously, I mean, if you've been looking at what's been happening in terms of price action, today's a bit of a red day in terms of movement for Bitcoin and XRP, pick your cryptocurrency. But when this article was written, one of the sentences, and again, this is February 6th, they wrote something here that I wanted to highlight if I could find it real quickly here. Yeah, here we go. The bottom line. However, this ongoing SEC litigation is likely to continue to eat into investor sentiment, at least over the near term. Now look, let me just pause it. I acknowledge that the price of XRP is suppressed. There's a very strong case for that relative to where it would be had none of this occurred. But that suppression happened, and then it's just been moving in tandem with the market ever since then. I think that's also provably the case. The only time that there's a notable outlier is when the SEC filed the lawsuit against Ripple. Other than that, nothing really crazy, certainly not based on news. And so again, this idea that the sentiment because of this lawsuit would eat into the price of XRP. No, if that's the case, then why is XRP moving in tandem with the rest of the market? And what makes this comical on top of that is that it was that day that XRP started to spike after they published the damn article. XRP was at what, roughly 67 cents. And if you're looking at the screen now, this is a 7-day chart of XRP price. It just rocketed up. Ended up hitting like in the matter of like 2 days, it got up to what, 91 cents. So I was just investor sentiment. Oh my god, because the SEC case, it's gonna keep the price down. Then it went from 67 cents to 91 cents. Like, what? It's so hilarious. And if you look at where it was at the beginning of the month, February 3rd, it was at like what, 58 cents. It was up over. That means XRP rocketed up over a span of a couple days after that claim was made by over 50%. That's hilarious. I love the timing. And yeah, so it's been volatile because crypto's volatile. It's down a bit since then. At the time I record this, XRP 78 cents. I just thought for the fun of it, I'd mention a few of these things because these people that write these articles, they just, I don't know how they're allowed to write some of this stuff when they don't have a basic understanding of just some of the fundamental realities of what it is to be in crypto, which is that the market moves in tandem and almost none of it is based on fundamentals. Almost 0% of the movement of cryptocurrency is based on any sort of fundamentals. That's why the market moves together. And it's so obvious that it just shocks me that people don't get that at this point if they've been in crypto for a little while. If you're brand new, I could see how you wouldn't know that. I didn't know it when the day I entered. I didn't understand all this. But it doesn't take a lot to figure it out. So, here we are. Really steams my vegetables, folks. Not really, not much.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.